Alright, time for another rant. The Shadow, the other day made a video talking about how Fire Emblem Heroes needs new game modes first of all, and more well thought out game modes that are also aimed more for the casual audience. And that's something that's been said by everyone for a while, but like it's not even just that we need new game modes, because we do need that. We do, but like we could also like kind of fix and retool what the game modes that already quote unquote exist, and make them better. Because, there are a lot of, events and modes that we've had in the history of the game, and some are good and some are bad, but like right now it just seems like there's such a focus on the competitive game modes, and it's like with power creep and all that, it's really not fun, even for the hardcore fans, right? And I think even for those hardcore fans, the reintroduction or introduction of good game modes would be very helpful in keeping keeping players in the game and for the health of the game and whatnot, and keeping people in the community, right? I just wanted to talk about like just some ideas, for what they could do with some existing game modes, how they could change it and and modify it to just be more interesting, right? And and be more hype, honestly. Okay, so Voting Gauntlet, it's been running for a long time, right? And it has not changed pretty much at all ever since it first started. The frequency of voting gauntlets have basically stayed the same, and it's been pretty regular and consistent, like, yeah, just all the time. So I think it's gotten a little stale. And maybe a little is an understatement, in my opinion, but it's because the problem is the rewards for voting gauntlet are like nothing, right? Like, because voting gauntlet is supposed to be this like bracket thing where where there's one eventual winner. The one eventual winner, it doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't mean anything unless we're talking about A Hero Rises. And A Hero Rises is, despite the flaws of how Voting Gauntlet actually works, A Hero Rises makes Voting Gauntlet very cool, interesting, engaging for the community, and builds hype, right? So like, I think that like Voting Gauntlet could be fixed by, first of all, not making it run as frequently. I think it's been run too many times. People are just so used to it just being there and like kind of not feeling anything towards it, right? That, yeah, it's kind of oversaturated, basically, in our minds. I think in a perfect world, Voting Gauntlet would like give you, one free copy of whatever hero that wins that Voting Gauntlet, right? Just like in A Hero Rises. But obviously that's, that would be too nice, and that would also kind of detract from how a bit of how cool and impactful A Hero Rises is, even if we didn't get the banner for it or whatever. But I think something they could do, something they could do instead to make it a little bit nicer is that they could make, Voting Gauntlet can run maybe 3 to 4 times a year, only a few times a year, right? And then, but each time, whatever unit or character unit that wins that voting gauntlet, everyone gets a free copy, free manual, free combat manual of that unit, you know? And I think that's fair, and I think that's not, you know, broken. I think that's, you know, it's just a nice bonus, right? And then, you know, for that, you know, they can make it so the units featured in voting gauntlet aren't, you know, that good, or aren't that recent or whatever, which is fine. But I just think it would be more, I think it would just be more interesting if everyone got something out of voting gauntlet, and if it wasn't run so many times, you know, within a year, so it felt, each one felt more special, you know. Okay, Tempest Trials. Personally, I think Tempest Trials also has gone very stale. It's been run too many times without. It has had changes, you know, at some points, but like, it's just the same thing every time. It's just the same idea every time, where you just auto battle, you know. It's whatever, right? You just auto battle, you know, farm your orbs. That's it, right? And I think one thing too is that it's also pretty easy to get to that 50k you know, mark. I'm not saying that making it harder in the sense of like, oh, making it so, you know, you have to get to 100k now would solve the problem, but like, it is, I think, a little too easy. I just think generally modes that ask of you to like just continuously, especially Tempest Trials, where it just continuously replay, you know, just basically replay or just auto battle, you know, the same maps over and over again, are just not good. They're not good. They're not fun. They're not interesting, right? It does give, you know, good rewards. It gives you a lot of orbs, but I think Tempest Trials as well need to be run less. It doesn't need to be run for every single banner, you know. It really doesn't. And back in the day, you know, the seals that came with Tempest Trials kind of made a difference, mattered. But right now with the meta, like, you know, the whatever seals they introduce in Tempest Trials really isn't a big deal either. So I don't think losing, you know, I don't think making Tempest Trials run less and losing out on all those seals would be that big a deal, really, you know. And then also the Tempest Trials Grail units are generally like not good. Generally the GHB ones are better anyways, so really cares, right? Yeah, but I just think if they did something to where it was more along the lines of like how finding worlds or holoforms works, and I think, and then, you know, maybe it makes it too similar to those two modes, but it just you know, just Tempest Trials is literally basically pretty much just replaying the same maps over and over and over again, which is like, yeah, it's boring. It's boring, badly designed, and it's just run too often, you know. Tap battle, I think tap battle's fine where it's at right now. Maybe it could be run 1 or 2 more times within the year, but actually the frequency of you know, of how much it's run right now is, I think, mostly fine. The rewards aren't great, but it's kind of it's not even really, it's, you know, the mode itself is not even playing the game, like playing, it's completely different from, you know, the actual game of Fire Emblem Heroes anyways. So I don't think the rewards need to necessarily be that good, and then there's not, you know, particularly strategy. I mean, you know, it's fine as it is. It's a super like casual, like super zero thinking casual, you know, game mode, which is fine, you know, and it doesn't need to have crazy rewards. It's just, I think it's, you know, it's just a cool gimmick every once in a while, and that's cool. Grand Conquest, it's Grand Conquest have used to back in the day used to run really often, really often. But nowadays it runs very rarely, right? Which I think was a mistake. I think I think back in the day it was run a little too often, and back then I did get kind of bored of it because it was, you know, the same thing every time and it was so often. Um Maybe now it's because, you know, I don't get to play it so often that it feels more special and it feels more fun each time I do get to. Like I think it should be run a little bit more often, and I think the mode itself is pretty good. It's pretty fun, right? I think generally all the modes where you get to use you know, friends, the units from your friends list is like very good, very fun. Um, the you know the big, you know, maps, right? That you know, like with Grand Conquests and Rival Domains, I think, you know, it's closer to real Fire Emblem, and it's also just more interesting. I think it's not more interesting, but like I think it's also very fun, right? So I think Grand Conquest is a good mode. It gives good rewards. You know, I think maybe the structure of the way, you know, the territories, you know, or like the the way that Grand Conquest kind of works is a little finicky and a little confusing, which is kind of weird and boring, but the gameplay itself, right? Actually, like, you know, playing the maps is, I think, is fun. And yeah, it could just be run, you know, more times a year, I think. And you know, it allows for, you know, for people to make content on YouTube, right? Like rival domains, right? Um, uh, because like every time it is run nowadays, it feels so special, you know, and it's very fun, and the whole community gets involved, right? And if you ran it more times, maybe that specialness of it might sort of fade. We need more right now, as it is. We need more. We need more good things. So like increasing the frequency of it isn't a it would be good. It would be very helpful for the casual community and the community as a whole, honestly. Um, Forging bonds. I think forging bonds is fine. The little story tidbits we get are good. You know, it's actually a really good method to like grind SP for units and whatnot. Um, but the one problem I have with it, actually no, the rewards are good because on normal forging bonds you get, you know, 2 orbs every day and a ticket. On revivals you still get the tickets, which is pretty good. The rewards are good, but it is another game mode that is just technically just replaying maps over and over and grinding. But I think the way that it is set up, it's a little bit more interesting. Keeps my attention more than Tempest Trials. That feels just way more dull, just like way more of a slog. I don't know. Even though it technically, you know, it gives you more rewards for grinding more, you know, but I think it is. I think it's fine. Yeah, the grinding aspect of Forging Bonds isn't great, but again, it's not crazy. It's not crazy because realistically, you only need to really grind till you get the tickets, right? And just, you know, play one map every day to get the dailies, right? Because the rest of the rewards are really nothing. So it's not. So you really don't need to grind that much. So I actually think Forging Bonds is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Obviously, I would say they could give us better rewards on the Forging Bonds revival and whatnot, but it's all right. You know, it's cool. Um, yeah. Roker Sieges, that's another mode that used to be run way more back in the day. Not so much anymore. I think it's fun. It's a fun mode. Back in the day, I think it was run way too often. It was like just another day, you know. Roker Sieges is back. But now I think it's I think we miss it. I think we do. The rewards could be better. The rewards literally have not changed for the mode ever since it came out originally. The way the scoring works changed, but like besides that, nothing about the mode has changed. You know, the actual gameplay of it has not changed really, and the rewards haven't changed. So I think updating the rewards would be good, because everyone has those like flaming glowing eye accessories at this point, and yeah, it's been there from the start. So that's kind of just boring, but I think it can be run more times. I think another thing that could be nice is if the difficulty was upped. I think at this point, especially with the units that we have, but even before, the game mode kind of got, you know, too easy, right? And you don't want to make it too hard, because you want to theoretically make it so everyone has a chance to get the high score or whatever, but it's right now it's just too easy, right? But generally speaking, the mode is fine. It's good. It just needs to be run more, because right now we just have a bunch of really boring modes, and it's like a bunch of really boring modes, you know, that are rerunning over and over, and then like, you know, the big ones like you know, Aether Raids and Summoner Duels, I guess. Well, it's Aether Raids is also becoming shit because power creep and whatnot. So we need more fun good things, you know. Lost Lore, that's might be my least favorite mode, honestly, because it gives okay rewards, but like you're not actually playing the game at all, and it's actually like really annoying and tedious, because you have to, like, you know, you have to wait 20 hours for the thing to complete, right? Because like you can say Frontline Phalanx and whatever, Affinity Auto Battles is worse or something, because you're doing less, but like at least it's like once you hit the button, you know, a couple times, once you hit the buttons a couple times, then you just claim the rewards and you're done with the mode. You can just kind of forget about it, right? Lost Lore, you gotta keep coming back, and it's tedious. The rewards are okay, not good, not really great. They're just okay at best, right? And it's just not, there's no real gameplay. There's not really any gameplay to be had either, you know? I think Lost Lore is a mode that can just be scrapped. We don't need it, really. I don't think anyone is having fun, you know, is excited when Lost Lore comes back. It can just be thrown away, really. Yeah, there's nothing that can save it, really, without completely changing the mode altogether. Holoforms. Holoforms, I think, is a good mode theoretically, or it is a good mode, but it's been run too many times. It's oversaturated, really. Problem really comes when we're talking about Holoforms Revival, because Holoforms Revival is literally just a prior past like Holoforms, but again, and with shittier rewards, right? And it really, like, and even with normal Holoforms, unless one of the units featured on it is a really good unit, or, you know, one of your favorites, you know, a unit that you really like, unless it's one of those two, Holoforms really gives you nothing, right? Really, like, does not capture your attention, right? Normal Holoforms gives good rewards, but, you know, Holoforms Revival does not really, right? It really just gives you manuals, which I'll be honest, manuals really matter only for the hardcore players. No casual player really cares all too much about, you know, scrounging manuals to get this, to get, you know, this next level of fodder, right, for their, you know, for their casual units that are only going to be used in PvE modes, right? So like Hall of Forms Revivals is just really boring. It's really just boring, right? Yeah, even Hall of Forms normal one is kind of boring because it's, again, both of them are run so often. Like they can just cut down on how often they're run, and we'd be, and I think each one would be more fun, feel more special, and yeah. But generally speaking, the way the mode actually works is fine. I think that doesn't need to be changed. Yeah. The Hall of Forms Revival, it's nice, I guess. I would just up the rewards, you know, because at least with the Forging Bonds Revival, we get tickets, so it's like, you know, it's like pseudo orbs you get to summon, you know, you get something interesting. Maybe, you know, it doesn't have to be that good. I don't know. You give us better. Either like maybe just like, honestly, just more, even just like more manuals would feel better, you know. But realistically, you know, we should be getting every mode realistically should be giving you orbs, you know, in some way, really, whether it be through scoring, through dailies, through quests. You should be getting orbs from everything. That should be the main, that should be like, at the very least, the very, like, you know, at the very least, that should be what motivates people to like just log in and just play each mode every time, you know. Because without orbs, you know, even the bare minimum, that's the bare minimum, right, for someone to be interested enough to just play a game mode, you know, half-assed, right? But yeah, I don't know. They could just give a little bit of orbs for Hall of Forms Revival and give straight up more manuals, because I mean, I don't think, again, if everyone was able to complete every line of the you know, the manual quests, not quests, but you know, the manual lines, then like I don't think it'd be a big deal, right? I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice for everyone, but it's not like a game-breaking big deal, you know? So, yeah. Mjolnir Strike is actually interesting because I think there is a lot of thought put into it, and I think there is a lot of attention to detail, but I think, first of all, back in the day, it was just... It was run way too often back in the day. Now it's run a little bit less, but yeah, it got way too stale. But the other main problem is that it doesn't really give any real rewards, you know? And you could say the same thing about Aether Raids, really, because Aether Raids, besides the actual, like, the chairs, the thrones, it doesn't really give... Well, it does give Grails, which Grails were, you know, the shit back in the day, but even now, it doesn't give, you know, really good rewards, but it's just... It has its own, you know, part in the... It has its own section, right? It's one of those... It's featured as a premier game mode, you know, so people automatically just naturally will play the mode, right? Because they feel like they need to, or they feel like they're supposed to, right? Mjolnir Strike could have kind of been like that, but like they just hid it away inside the events, and you know, gave really just zero interesting rewards or good rewards, so nobody cared, right? Nobody cared. They just need to give actually good rewards, right? Actually good rewards for Mjolnir Strike. And then the mode, the actual gameplay itself is too easy right now. It needs to be harder. It really needs to be harder. It doesn't need to be like omega hard, but like it needs to be hard enough that I as a player will want to upgrade and make use of the structures, right? Because right now it's so easy that I do not need to upgrade the structures. I do not need to use the structures at all, and I can just win, right? So yeah, they should make it hard enough to where the structures matter, and like you know you can choose where there's a point in like picking and choosing which structure you want to put on your map, use. Scoring system is a little weird and funky, but it's fine. It's kind of it's sort of in line with how scoring in other modes works. So whatever, it's kind of, you know, it's fine as is. But it really just needs better rewards, and people will start caring. People will, you know, out of kind of almost necessity, people will start playing it more, caring about it more. And then once that happens, I think people will start having more fun with it, because they'll care more about actually like playing and paying attention to the mode, right? You know, and then they'll see how like thought out and how fun it could possibly be, right? Again, while it, you know, they need to make the mode a little bit harder. But all right, frontline phalanx, it's dead. Kill it. You know, I mean it already is dead, to be fair, but like, yeah, we're not bringing that back. It's bad. Hanzo Loki. Hanzo Loki is a good mode, was a good mode, but with the current power creep, it is impossible. Genuinely, it is just not. It is not fun. It is not cool. It is a pain and just boring and blah. It gives good rewards. Hanzo Loki gives good rewards. The you know, the actual gameplay is decently fun, you know, but with power creep being the way it is, it's not fun at all. It's terrible. They need to find some way to rework the mode so power creep isn't so dominating, right? Because right now there's so little strategy that you can put into the game mode, put into it. So there's no real way of combating the power creep, right? At least if they redesign the mode to where there's a bit more strategy that you can add in to, you know, to where players can use that to help combat the power creep. Maybe that's something, but also I think the mode just needs to be easier. I think you know, you as the player probably needs to be given like an extra bonus stats and everything, you know, whenever just playing against you know, whenever just playing the mode, really. Because right now they don't give you any extra bonus stats. You know, you build the combos, but like they don't naturally buff you up, right? But I think they need to do that, because it's just really even with what I said about, you know, making it so there's more strategy that can be put into it. As we've seen with the other modes, strategy is not going to save you against power creep, honestly. So the mode needs to just be easier. If the mode was easier, then it would actually be perfect, you know? It'd be fine. It'd be perfectly good. Good rewards, it would be fun gameplay. The frequency of it is also fine right now. It's not, you know, I never find that I'm missing the mode, but like I never feel like it's getting stale or like complain that it's back again. Well, I kind of complain when it's back again, because well, I don't complain when it's back, but like I kind of ignore it right now because power creep, so it's not fun. But you know, it's not stale yet, so I think the frequency is fine. They just need to retune the balancing of how the game works. Hero's Journey. Oh man. Hero's Journey. First of all, it gives really good rewards. I appreciate that. That's why I really like the mode. Like I really quote unquote like the mode because it gives good rewards. But the actual gameplay itself is pretty boring. The whole memento thing was interesting at first. It was kind of fun at first, but with how many times Hero's Journey has run, has rerun, it has gotten stale and boring. You know, in my opinion, and to get the to get the rapport and get the memento stuff, you have to just basically, it's like just auto battling, repeatedly auto battling maps, right? And the thing is, the good rewards only come from the daily quests that are attached to Hero's Journey, not actually reaching the high rapport and reaching high memento points, right? Doing that gives you like dragon flowers and like very little dragon flowers, really, right? So the rewards for playing the mode a lot and actually grinding the mode and getting and maxing out the mode is really bad, right? The reward for just playing one map every day is good, really good, but yeah, it's really bad. It's really not motivating to actually complete the mode, yeah, I think also the way the maps work, it could be retooled to where it feels more of it's not just you replaying a bunch of random maps. It feels more like you're going on a journey, where yeah, maps are kind of continuous, and then maybe and then so that way the memento stuff can kind of tie into can you within your brain, you can kind of tie the memento stuff together with the way the maps are kind of a journey and continuous, right? But yeah, generally speaking, I guess it's an okay mode. It's an okay mode, but there's a lot of room. There's room for improvement, and especially in terms of the rewards for actually grinding the mode out, maxing it out. Yeah. Summoner duels are Summoner duels S. In theory, they're good. They're really fun game modes, but because of power creep, they're not fun. There's really nothing I can say about it because there's no salvaging the way the actual gameplay is. With power creep, there's no salvaging that. Unless they actually made the matchmaking work properly, because like especially master players should only be matched up against master players, right? And it's honestly still BS if like a diamond player, if a gold or platinum player gets matched up against a diamond player, that's pretty BS, If they fix the matchmaking, actually a lot of the difficulty and frustration with the mode would actually, a good amount of it would go away. It honestly would. A good amount of it honestly would go away. There's still a good amount of it still left because of the actual units, but yeah. Obviously it's hard for them to fix the matchmaking because so little people play the modes. There's literally max 1,000 players who play it, and those 1,000 players who play it each time, only like 500 of them are actually prepping and making strategies and actually trying really hard. The other 500 are really like kind of throwing something together real quick with little thought and then just going in and just hoping for the best, right? So obviously the matchmaking thing can only be improved if more people play. It's hard to really convince more people to play when you already know that the game mode is so hard and it is so try hard and so punishing, but obviously just give orbs, not you know, tier based rewards with orbs, but because that would be cancer and that would be, you know, just really top heavy and whatnot, and make the game mode way more try hard. But just give like orbs for participating, really. Orbs for participating and like and yeah, orbs for participating, and then yeah, more people will play. Maybe orbs for either for you get orbs for fully participating via like losing all of your lives, or obviously if you reach max score, then obviously you don't need to. Then you know you don't. There's no point in losing lives. Then obviously you wouldn't lose all of your lives, but yeah, you just need to give orbs for participation, and then some some greater amount of people will maybe care a little bit about the game mode and try a little bit, and yeah, try a little bit, you know, in terms of actually playing it, and then you know, and then a good amount of people will just like, you know, hit play and then just, you know, hit auto battle or just hit surrender right after. But you know, but it's something's better than nothing, right? And you know, maybe some people again from doing that will be will get a little interested in the game mode. I don't even really care if people really get interested in Summoner Duels or not, because it really is just terrible right now. But that's also another thing with just the game as a whole. Binding Worlds. Oh, Binding Worlds. Binding Worlds is good. It gives good rewards. The gameplay is sufficiently fun. Actually pretty fun. I think it's run a good amount of times in a year. Not too much, not too little. I mean, obviously you can say what you want about the actual, you know, the other worlds bonds being locked behind a paywall, but besides that problem, I think the mode is very good, very fun. Actually, there's not really nothing to change. You know, other world bonds, I think generally speaking, for being honest, other world bonds could take the place of the Forma Soul pack price, right? I think it's $30, so they can lower the price of other worlds bonds, and they can also lower the price of Forma Soul. Realistically, that's I think a good solution, you know. And then I mean, perfect solution would be if they gave out, you know, 1 free other worlds bonds every year, like how they do Forma Souls, but or make it so you can buy one in the Celestial Stone shop or something, but they're not gonna. That's just too unlikely, you know. Obviously, none of everything I'm saying here isn't necessarily is unlikely, but I'm trying to theory craft some realistic things, right? Seer Snare. Seer Snare is good. I personally have gotten a little stale of it, but a lot of people still really like it, and I get it. I mean, I haven't gotten completely bored of it, so yeah, the way the mode works with the progression, I think is good. It's fine. It's good. The way the, you know, building this or stacking skills works is fine. It's not super fun in my opinion, but it's fine. The rewards are sufficiently good. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I've gotten a little stale of it, but everyone else seems to still really like it. So yeah, I don't think there's really much they need to change about Seer Snare. It's fine. Infinity auto battles, kill it. It's terrible. It needs to die. Like, right now. I never want to see it again. United Warfront. That's the very recent new one. United Warfront is gives good rewards, but you play it like for you play it for like 15-minute session and you're done with the entire mode, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? Because I'm not saying every mode needs to be a thing that you play every day and grind out, but it's it is very like just one and done, do it and kind of just forget about it, so it's like doesn't really leave a lasting impression on you. And also the mode itself is very easy. So like you can really just complete it, like not even in 15 minutes, honestly, but maybe even like just 5 minutes you can complete the whole mode. But yeah, I think an increase in difficulty, it's important. It's hard to balance that right now because you don't want to make it too hard, because a lot of the game right now as a whole, problems with the game stems from it being way too hard. But yeah, United Warfront's way too easy. The rewards are good. The maps themselves, again, even if they were harder, aren't really that interesting either. So do I really even want to be playing it? Do I really want to even play it like every day? Not really. I guess the mode's okay right now. The way the mode is, I don't really think there's any good way to improve it, because the mode is it's so simple and basic, and it doesn't really have too much to it. So like there's really not much I can theorycraft adding on to it or changing it, but yeah, so it's fine. It's fine. Just make it a little harder, I would say. Yeah. Now let me talk about some other modes. Okay. The Training Tower quests. The Shadow also mentioned this in his video. Training Tower quests need to be changed. Because replaying just the same random maps like 10 times, 10, 20, 30, 100 times, 15 times, whatever, is just not, I mean, it gives you orbs, which is nice, but it's just kind of annoying, just kind of annoying. I think the training tower itself is not supposed to be like particularly interesting, right? So I don't know why it wouldn't be a big deal to just like lower the numbers by 5 on each training tower quest, so where, I think the fifth to 7th should only make it so you have to repeat it 5 times, and then the rest should only have to be like 10 times, right? It's just like one of those things where it's like it's tedious enough that like actually a lot of people don't do the quests, because it's tedious enough, and it's also just not interesting at all because it's just training tower, right? So it should be a little bit just less tedious, obviously it should give more rewards, but whatever. It's already giving orbs, so I can't complain too much. A big thing I would like them to actually update on is Blessed Gardens, because Blessed Gardens have not been touched since like 2018. But I think it's a really interesting and fun mode. Or I think it's not super interesting, but I think it's interesting enough, where it does merit, having its own section within the story maps. I think it's interesting. It just hasn't been updated at all, you know? I think if it were updated at the same around the same frequency as um as the what's it called? The squad assault maps were updated, you know, um then it'd be perfect, you know? Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything too crazy. Just actually update it and give it new maps every once in a while, you know? And you know, because Blessed Gardens gave interesting. It did give orbs, which I don't expect them to give necessarily. I wouldn't expect them to necessarily add new maps that do give orbs. That would be nice, but particularly in there, I would like to see them give more. Or dew is actually pretty easy to get nowadays, but I mean, getting more divine dew is not bad. But actually, refining stones are actually really hard to get nowadays because bef- before a lot of the a lot of the more recent arena changes within the past few years, the the daily arena stuff would give refining stones, so it was really easy to build up your stash of refining stones. But since arena doesn't give that now, the only place I know of that gives refining stones is arena assault, and it only gives like 10, you know 10, right, each time, and arena assault only runs every other week. So in 1 month you're getting only 20, and you're supposed to use, I don't even remember because I haven't been able to use them in so long. What, 400, 200, 400? I think it's 400. I think it's 400 for each refine. So yeah, which is like, how are you gonna build that up? How? I do wish they would maybe refining stones as well. I wish they would just give that through like quests and maybe even arena again and whatnot. That would be nice, or just put it in the rewards of Aether raids, or just give it out more, in various places. But Blessed Gardens, I think, would be a perfectly good place to do that, considering it already gives very different rewards than a lot of the other modes. Okay, Resonant Battles. I think it's actually, in my opinion, it's still actually decently interesting. It's the way the mode works. It's a bit of a puzzle, and I think it's fun and it's interesting. It gives good enough rewards because you only need to play it once anyway, so it gives you that one orb for playing it once. And I think that's fine. The Resonant Battles can just stay as is. Allegiance Battles is like really boring, and like, yeah, it's really boring. I really wish they would get rid of the 1 week where they only give feathers out as rewards, because that's really useless. And they give out the weeks they give out the orbs, obviously really good. The weeks they give out, the seasonal blessings, I actually, at least me as someone who plays arena, I do appreciate getting that. For most other people, it honestly really doesn't mean anything, right? Unfortunately. So I would like to see just better rewards, and also I think better rewards would really be enough, but the mode itself really isn't that fun, if I'm being honest. Yeah. That's okay, but I don't know. In my opinion, it's gotten pretty stale. But at the very least, you gotta give better rewards. Yeah. I'm not gonna talk about arena or aether raids really. Or even summoner duels, about the actual modes itself, because there's just too much to talk about with them. Let me think. Is that it? I think there's other things with special maps I'd like to see more of. I think the old special maps that gave you, you know, like the 1-star, 2-star versions of, you know, of old units like Riss and Sophia and Felicia. I think they should bring those back to where, you know, you get doesn't have to be the actual units, but you know, just more. I think even though this wouldn't be a big deal, and I think they should just make more of those types of maps, and then give like 4 or 5-star manuals of like random units of just like random, you know, fairly recent maybe units, or like units within the last 1 or 2 years. You know, again, it wouldn't be a big deal. It wouldn't be such a big deal, but it would just be nice, you know, if they like updated those things, because those things are just like are not when things when certain parts are not updated, like those maps or Blessed Gardens or whatever, it's just, it really adds to the kind of the dying feeling of the game, and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to just update them, right? It really doesn't, because you're not making entirely new game modes with those. You're just, you know, releasing a new map every once in a while, really, right? That's it, right? And then just, you know, give us some rewards, free things for, you know, completing them. That's it. That's all I want, right? And it just feels better if they, you know, if they give us more free things, because, you know, right now I think there's a lot of hate towards IS, which is granted, which is really valid, but you know, I think because of that, I think everyone would appreciate if IS gave out more free things, right? Even if those free things aren't amazing, right? Yeah. I think that's it. Oh, I think with the actual rival domains within special maps, why does only one of those maps give 1 orb, and the other maps give like, what, I don't even know what they give. I think one of them gives like 10 Divine Dew, and like, and I don't know what the rest give, but like, why would anyone play them, right? Like, I think it's actually good that they have the 1 orb on the easiest map, but they could give like some other, you know, useful, interesting rewards on like the other maps, at least, so there's a reason to play them every week, right? You know, maybe it doesn't have to be through the map itself. Maybe you can attach it to a quest for completing, you know, the higher level maps. But yeah, just actually give it some meat on its bones, you know? Because you give like crappy rewards, literally nobody's gonna play those modes, you know? So yeah, but I think that's about it. Yeah, every other mode that I haven't talked about right now are either the, you know, really uber competitive ones, or they're fine, and they're just they have been updated. They are being updated, so yeah. But I don't know. Overall, we just need more fun things, because the whole try hard shit is gotten really stale, really old, really sour, really painful, you know? More fun casual shit is important for the health of the game, and the health of the game is important for the health of the Fire Emblem community as a whole, because yes, there are a lot of people, you know, who socialize and interact with each other that aren't, in terms of Fire Emblem, that aren't, you know, part of the Fire Emblem Heroes community, or that don't play the game. But, you know, if the game was appealing to everyone, then it would just help and, you know, be more interesting for everyone, and it would just be better, you know? Yeah. Obviously, this isn't obviously the main problem with Fire Emblem Heroes is still the power creep and all that, etc. But this is the very close second in terms of big problem with the game, you know? Yeah. It's I think third most important problem with the game would be like the balancing, quote unquote, of orb income, new units, the frequency of new units that are really busted, you know, the how much, you know, free you know, rewards they give us, how much free manuals they give us, you know, how many free units they give us, whatever. That the balancing of that would be the third biggest problem, I would say. But yeah, I think the casual, but I think, well, you know, I think the whole orb balancing thing is theoretically an easy fix, but it would obviously technically hurt. It would likely probably put a dent into in the short term. It would put a slight dent into their, you know, into their sales, or, you know, their revenue, but in the long run, I do think it would be better, you know, for the revenue, for the sales, whatever. But yeah, out of those top three biggest problems, I think just fixing the casual shit, you know, adding more, you know, adding more fun casual things is the easiest problem to fix, you know, out of the three, realistically speaking. So I really, you know, I really hope that they do start listening to actual feedback, you know, because it's just every time you think the game can't get any stupider, it can't get any worse, it does. And they haven't addressed any of the existing problems that, you know, we've been talking about for years, and they keep introducing new ones, you know. But whatever, that's it. Rant over. See ya.